The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Hi guys, I'm Lex.
And I'm Liv. And today,
We'll be the judges.
So my voice is gone.
I actually am so mad at everything right now.
We lost a piece to the soundboard, so we have to struggle with a single mic for us both.
But honestly, it's not terrible.
No, it's not. Honestly, I kind of like it better.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about everything. And making sure that they're like both plugged in, making sure they're both being sounded, making sure one's not.
Yeah.
So
There's only one that we can blame for the problem.
yeah.
So if you could see, we got everything in. Our couch is finally here.
Yeah. Took long enough.
Everything's here.
Finally, like, I feel like it just took forever.
It did. It took fucking forever for this damn couch to get here.
Because it got lost and then it was found.
You will be
found.
Anyways.
Yeah.
What pissed you off this week?
My dumb concert. I had my choir concert, and obviously,
Little choir girl.
but I'm on crutches, so like, and if you're in choir, then you know. Or honestly, if you don't, I feel like this is universal. They stand the entire time. Come on.
Come on.
Bubba's, come on.
Alrighty.
Somebody's a little nervous. He's like, I've never been on this couch before. It's so big. Bubba, are you scared to be up here? What was I saying?
Choir concert. Standing.
And like, there's no room on the stage for a chair for me to sit. So I thug it out and I stand. So my foot was like, my toes were going numb. Because I was wearing a heel.
Which was fucking stupid on your part. Yeah.
Bruh.
Exactly.
Okay, what pissed you off? Everything.
Too much, actually. Where do I even start? Oh, all my finals are done, so that didn't piss me off. That was nice. I'm done. But they're not great. My freaking chemistry one is still not graded. And I just want to know what I got. I just had to get a 67 on the final to
Get an A.
Get an A. So hopefully I did that. But I think I did.
Please stomp her.
I'm gonna invest in a lock for this fucking door.
A lock on the inside.
Yes!
Oh, that's how locks work.
Correct. Padlock, if you will. We'll use our fingers. Our fingerprint. You fuckers can't get down. Ever.
I have a story for us today.
Story?
Yeah.
For what? Oh, right. I put her in charge of it. And guess who didn't do it?
Me. Because I like to do things last minute. If you don't know, there was a little girl named JonBenet Ramsey. The story is all just out of whack. There is documentary after documentary after documentary about this story. So if you don't know what it is, I also cut my hair myself. So
Wasn't she a pageant girl?
yeah, that's why this story there's a lot of reasons why this story kind of sparked media very quickly. JonBenet Ramsey was a 6-year-old who was a pageant queen and a pageant winner and sort of parented on TV. So she was very known before this whole fiasco happened. In the documentary, Patsy, which is her mom, Patsy Ramsey, initially called the police, and in the 911 call, she says she believes her daughter was kidnapped after finding a ransom note in their home that morning. Now retired detective Bob Whitson said in the documentary that police conducted a primarily search of the house and did not find any obvious crime scene.
Preliminary.
Same thing. Did not find any obvious crime scene or JonBenet. John Ramsey was her dad.
Gordon Ramsay! Wait, is he related to her?
No.
Oh.
JonBenet. No.
Ramsey. Gordon Ramsay. They're related. Yes, they are. They have to be.
Okay.
Maybe that's his great-great-great-granddaughter. Or wait, no. He's born after. He's born after her, wasn't he? No.
He was born way before her.
No. She was born in like 1980 something.
She'd be 30-something. He's like 50.
Oh. So
They're not family members. John.
In some tree somehow. Second cousins by marriage.
All right,
removed.
Shh. So there's 4 people that live in the family. There's a brother. I forget his name.
Brother.
Dad.
Dad.
Which is John Ramsey.
John.
Patsy, what's his mom? Patsy Ramsey. She plays.
And, hey, what's 4?
Her. JonBenet Ramsey.
JonBenet.
And Patsy Ramsey plays a really, really, really big part in this.
Oh my god, wait, that's like... Oh, wait! From Dance Moms! Black Patsy Ramsey. That's where it's from?
Crazy Stage Mom.
That's where it's from?
Yes, because Patsy would shove
Oh
her...
my god! I put all the pieces together. I was like, Patsy Ramsey, I've heard that before. I've heard that Dance Moms.
Yeah.
Crazy Stage Mom.
Yes, because she would shove her 6-year-old kid on stage in spray tan, fake eyelashes, big hair, and like the tiniest little skirt.
Wow. Black Patsy.
All right, moving on.
Oh my god,
Shut
that's
up!
so cool.
Oh my god.
Putting all the pieces together. No. Maybe I should solve the crime.
No.
Bitch, give me 20 minutes and I know.
If you...
Okay, wait. Hold on. What is with the 3-page ransom note?
I'm getting there. Can you let me finish the first thing? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay. John and Patsy stayed in the home after they invited multiple different friends over.
So, like, their daughter was missing, but they invited friends
Their
over?
daughter was missing because she, quote unquote, got kidnapped. And so instead of leaving the house and going to a friend's house, because when you think of a crime scene of where a kid got possibly taken is the house. So you would, as a detective, which this was also, may I add, on Christmas Day.
She got kidnapped on Christmas?
Christmas. Supposedly Christmas Eve night. And then they figured out on Christmas Day.
Santa took her. She's at the North Pole.
She's an elf. She's just an elf getting ready for next year.
Guys, come on. She's not missing.
Come on.
She's at the North Pole.
Put the pieces together. This is the stuff that we were lacking.
Why did we not go and search Santa Claus first?
You know what? He should have been number 1 on the investigation list. Denver reporter Julie
Maybe
Hayden.
she was an elf on the shelf. So she had to go back after her time.
Maybe she was. Denver reporter Julie Hayden said that the detectives at the scene, Linda Arnett, told Arnett, "Shut up! No matter how bored I get while you're saying all your shit about the triangulations and stuff, I don't ever do that.
I'm trying to make it fun.
Search a house and give..." So, the detective gave John Ramsey a task. And that was to give him something to do.
Him a task?
Yeah, like, the detective.
You!
What was her name?
Go find her shoes.
Linda. Linda was the detective. No.
Go find her clothes. You go do the laundry. You do the laundry.
No, what the detective should have did is say, "Hey, everybody get out. This is all. The whole house is a crime scene because there's fingerprints in the kitchen. There's fingerprints on the doors. There's clearly
fingerprints everywhere."
Exactly, because there was no break and entering. So she went. If the person, quote unquote, that stole her went through the front door or through a window, opened, everything in the house is contaminated. Everything needs to be fingerprinted. Everything. That's what you think as a detective. The whole house is a crime scene. So the main detective had to go and leave for a meeting of some sort. So Linda was the Linda was the younger detective who was left alone to basically finish the detecting the house. And so she gave the parents tasks. So I guess John was very anxious and very stressed. Obviously his daughter is missing.
Well, when your daughter's missing, I sure would actually hope that you're stressed.
Well, yeah, so he was pacing, he was getting like white and stuff, so like his going pale.
I think it was the mom.
Well, I think it was the whole family, but we'll get there. So Linda gave John Ramsey a task, which was to go see if you see anything unusual. So their house was the top floor.
Wait. Linda? There's 2 Lindas?
No, Linda's the detective.
I thought Linda was the wife.
Patsy's the wife.
Right, got it.
So Linda is a detective, and she gave John a task to do, which was go around the house and find anything unusual, which was step number 1 of what went wrong. Because now he's touching door handles. Now he's looking through possible evidence. Now he's going down in the basement, which is where she was found. So
she was found in the basement?
Yes. So their house is set up as a top floor, which was bedrooms and stuff. Basic house, 3 stories. Top floor, it was a big house, but it was basic. Top floor of bedrooms, bathroom, whatever. Bottom floor of living room, kitchen, like family room, everything. And then a basement with a wine cellar. The wine cellar is very important.
Was she found in the wine cellar?
Yes. So while checking the basement, John Ramsey said he discovered a suitcase that, quotes, that shouldn't have been there, set up like a step beneath a broken window that was wide open, that looked fishy. That's what he said. Behind the closed door, there was a wine cellar. And when he opened the door, there was JonBenet's body. Linda, the detective, would later do an interview with ABC Good Morning America. Oh, that's what ABC is. Sorry. With Good Morning America, sharing her own feelings about the case. ABC News reported that she asked John Ramsey and his friends Fleet White to search the house top to bottom looking for anything out of place, and that she gave them specific instructions to not touch anything. My mind exploded and everything that I had noted that morning stuck out instantly, made sense. Because at this point in time, they believed that there was a break and enter where the suitcase was used as a step stool to get out after whatever the person murdered or kidnapped JonBenet Ramsey. In that interview, Arnett, which was the reporter's Linda, famously said that she knew who killed JonBenet and had no doubt in her mind who killed her. While she didn't directly name anyone, she told ABC News that after John Ramsey brought the body upstairs, which they missed this writing this, when he found her body in the basement, instead of screaming and running up to the detective saying, which when you're in that moment, I guess it's a lot, but this is a really good way for, if his family murdered her, really amazing way to cover it. When he opened the wine cellar and saw her, instead of breaking down and crying and running to go get the detective, he grabbed a white sheet, which in your mind, you see her, you don't think to grab a white sheet.
Yeah.
If you were genuinely thinking about your daughter, you would just pick her up and take her upstairs and say, "Oh my God, I found her."
Yeah.
And somehow there was a white sheet in the basement. And if you really wanted to get a white sheet to cover her, you would have to run upstairs and you would have to say, I found her, I'm going to get a sheet.
Right.
So magically there was a white sheet down in the basement, basically ready for him to grab. So then he covered her with the sheet and he picked her up and he dragged her upstairs, crying, screaming, everything. The whole 9 yards. So after John Ramsey brought the body upstairs, she had a non-verbal exchange with him that she'd, quote unquote, never forget. She said the interview, "I didn't know if we'd all be alive when people showed up." Linda was not interviewed in the 2024 documentary, but John Ramsey defended himself against her, claiming in the documentary, he said, "We didn't act right in the eye of this so-called detective that was there that day." So he's basically blaming the detective because she's the one that sent him to go do a job. And when he found her, he acted as a dad and not as somebody who is investigating. Yeah. An investigator in their mind is, oh my God, the body's here. Close the door. Go call people to come and figure this out. Test her body. Get everything ready. He was acting as a dad, as in grabbing, I think she was naked. I'm not 100% sure. Grabbing a sheet, covering her body, and taking her upstairs. So that was his defense on that, was that he was acting as a parent and not somebody who was investigating a crime scene, which I do get, because when you're a parent and you see your dead kid on the floor, the first thing that you want to do is you want to go hug them. You want to go be with them. You want to make so I understand that, but the fact that there was a white sheet very easily accessible to him.
Yeah.
And kind of and the fact that he knew where the sheet was to cover her. And the fact that he knew to look in the wine cellar. If you see a suitcase and a broken window, you don't immediately go to a wine cellar. You would look around the suitcase. You would look in the suitcase. So he would still be touching things, which is the crime scene.
Well, if he opened the wine cellar, he touched something.
Exactly, which somebody obviously had to put her in there, so they had to open the wine cellar. But if you see
going down, if it was him going down and touching it again, if his fingerprints show up.
And back then, he knew the equipment that they had, and it's not like ours today. You can't do it, and then you get every single person that touched that door handle or anything. If I touch the wall, you touch the wall, and your dad touched the wall, and your mom and Brayden, everybody that touched this part of the wall, everybody's fingerprints would come up. Everybody's DNA, because that's what the
new stuff.
That's what we have today. Back then, they didn't have half of that.
It was just the last one.
It was it was literally you put the powder on and you brush it off, and then that's whatever. The most recent fingerprint is that's what's coming up. So he already touched that. So by him retouching it, it's not it's not helping.
Yeah.
Nor is it technically hurting, because I think he did it, but that's just me.
Are her parents still alive?
Yeah. They still advocate for her to this day. John San Austin, a retired commander of sheriff of the El Paso country, Colorado, county, Colorado, said in the documentary that the lack of experience, which talking about Linda, because she was a young, newer detective giving, I missed this. Patsy was also given a job, or no, Patsy was not given a job. She took it upon herself to go in the kitchen, which is where the ransom note was found. Her and her friends went in the kitchen and started wiping down counters, cleaning the floors. Yep, this is why it's so fishy, because when your daughter died, the first thing you're thinking is not to clean the kitchen where the ransom note was written.
Why would you want to clean it?
That's what I'm saying. So unless she's the one that wrote the ransom note, which her handwriting, they were obviously the first suspects of this. So they had to write down on a paper some words that were written in the ransom note, on a document. They had to write their ABCs, and then they pulled some words from the ransom note and write it. Patsy's handwriting was an exact T, written the exact same.
Why the fuck would you write the thing same? Write with your other hand. At least be smart about it.
And the ransom note was 3 pages long. A normal ransom note is a page to a page and a half.
But who's sitting there with a ransom note
if you were
kidnap and writing a 3-page essay?
Exactly. If you were a kidnapper and you know that the parents are either getting up soon or you have a possibility of getting caught, you're not going to sit there and write your pretty little handwriting
3 pages
and write it 3 pages worth. And the handwriting wasn't rushed through. It started. The first page was written normal handwriting. By the second page, it got a little bit sloppier. It got a little bit more rushed. And by the third page, it was rushed, written quickly, because whoever killed her knew that it was the end, or knew that it was getting close in timing and getting a little bit wishy-washy in that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the handwriting matched Patsy Ramsey's to a T, to the exact arch on the E. I think the T had a little slant in it, and every single time there was a T, it had the same thing that she wrote. And if you were the parent or in Patsy's case, if you were Patsy who knew that you were covering up your daughter's death, you would, in your mind, you would write a 3-page essay, because that's going to help your case.
Yeah.
Oh, if I write it long, if I write, let me add this, let me add money, let me add this, it's all going to start piecing together, and it's going to not look like it's on me, without thinking, they're going to take my handwriting.
Was there anything that happened before with her and her parents that, like...
No, she was 6. Like, if they got into an argument, it wasn't...
No, but, like, was there anything, like, pageant-wise that, like,
I
she didn't win?
think there was a Christmas pageant, but I'm pretty sure she won it. Like, but don't quote me on that. I don't know.
Or they could have just been so jealous that she was winning all these things.
Well, her mom, that was the other thing. Her mom was a pageant queen growing up. She won Miss USA, or Miss whatever. There was a lack of experience by the Boulder police because nobody was expecting this. Like, obviously. I don't think half the police station was even trained for anything like this. I don't think the police station was trained to, oh my gosh, kidnapping, crime scene, everybody out.
Well, you don't really, like, train
and you
for a crime.
You can't, well, yeah, you can, but you don't train for, like, a kidnapping or anything.
Not, like,
especially in such a rural, like, area where literally nothing bad happens ever, and everybody in the community is so close.
Well, like, you can know and you can read and you can say as much as you want, but you don't understand it until you have to do it.
Exactly. And I think the police station missed the whole crime scene, kidnapping, everybody get the fuck out, because everything is contaminated, everything is like everything.
Every little thing.
The Boulder police procedurally created a lot of problems in the crime scene, which...
So basically they weren't following
they weren't following protocol. They weren't following the, like, what they were trained to do. When certain things like this would happen, they weren't following that procedure. The police sheriff of the town held in 1997 that there was aired in the documentary Tom Colby that then Boulder Sheriff Police said it doesn't appear that police got down to the basement room where JonBenet was in their preliminary search of their home that morning. Additionally, police did not consider the home a crime scene because she was not found in it.
Oh.
So, why
the fuck did they not check the basement? That was the first...
No, they did check the basement. They didn't check the wine cellar.
Oh. Like, see, in my head, if there's a kidnapping, whatever, murder, first place is the basement. You check basements, you check closets, you check bathrooms, you check any tiny door that, drawers, cabinets, everything. Like,
everything,
under a deck, like, stuff like that.
Everything. You check everywhere. You do not let a room be cleared unless you've torn it apart and you've looked in every box, every cabinet.
Damn, we'd make great detectives.
We're in the wrong field. Woman in men's field. Because a man then took over after Linda left because she didn't. Again, police told her that their house wasn't a crime scene.
Men are not the smartest. Girls would be like, women would be like,
if I were a killer, where would I hide?
That drawer looks a little off. Let's go look. That's the stupid shit.
Or when you think
girls
basement,
overthink.
Or you think basement, wine cellar with no windows, nothing, because wine is supposed to be fermented, so there can't be sunlight coming in. There can't be literally anything. It has to be chilled. It has to be cold. Where would you keep a body? Something with no windows in a basement that has to be chilled and has to be cold.
Well, girls just overthink everything.
So everything's suspicious.
So, like, in this case, it's actually really helpful to overthink.
Well, to be a detective, you have to. And I don't think men should be detective. Have you ever asked? I asked my dad the other day to find me milk. We have a gallon of milk in our refrigerator, and he couldn't find it. It was it was the first thing when you open the refrigerator. So if have you ever asked a man to find anything? They can't find it. It could be written on the wall. I'm in the wine cellar, and they probably still wouldn't have found her. Anyway.
It's like the only person you could ask of what happened is her. But
she's dead. That's why it's a hard job.
You know what they should get? They should get one of those paranormal things right where she was.
and like put it down.
Get a Ouija board, open her up.
Speak to me.
Open up the spirits. Tell me what happened. But
she's sick. She doesn't know how to spell.
Well, there's ones where you can record and you can hear.
Yeah, that's what I was. I don't think they had that. 1997.
Yes, 1997.
Oh yeah, they for sure
had that.
Long
ago.
They for sure had that. Okay.
Or at least something. It might not be as good as it is now, but it's
Ramsey called her friends over, possibly claiming the home, Carol McKinley, a Denver something reporter, who covered the case from the beginning, said in the series, in the documentary. Oh, okay, it doesn't say what he said, but
Where?
Oh, he's the one that called, that said that whole thing about how JonBenet was the permanently home. Police did not consider the home a crime scene. Ramsey called it what I literally just said. In the documentary, retired detective Bob Whitson said, "I should have removed all those people from the scene. That was a crime scene mistake. But at the time, it looked like a legitimate kidnapping. I thought.
Oh, like they thought she just
Yeah.
took her, not that she was like
Still
dead
dead
there.
because in the ransom note it said if you call the police or anything, she will be dead.
So in their head it was she
she
wasn't
was
dead, she's just kidnapped.
So in their head it was she's taken, she's possibly murdered, because at this point it's been hours. So people know that now.
Yeah.
The police are at their house. They called people, they called their friends. So it's getting around now that she's dead. And so at this point they're thinking, okay, she's probably dead. Police were called, whatever. Now their just main focus is finding her. But at this point in time, they have found her. So in their head it was, oh my gosh, it was a crime scene. They found her. Whoever kidnapped her figured out that the police were called. They killed her and skedaddled out of there as quick as possible. Well,
Yeah.
Nobody was looking. They just went out the window, and that's why it was broken, which the window was later found that the window was from John, that the window was broken previous. The window was already broken, and that whole thing was a fiasco too, but I don't know if it's in here. So, well, these are the support systems for the Ramseys, so I let them say. That's what he said. The friends and family were the supporters of the Ramsey family, so he let them say.
They could have supported somewhere that wasn't.
Well, that's what he said. It was poorly. I'm not trying to cover, like he said, when John found her body, he immediately pulled the tape off that was on her mouth. Whitson claimed, so her mouth was taped. She had a cracked skull. She had bruises on her. She had a taser thing in her side. She had the whole 9 yards. She was brutally beaten to death, which I think and it said that she died previous to all of the blunt hit to the head, the tasing, everything.
Oh, she was alright. Okay.
So I think it was somebody who killed her. This is what I think. I think the family killed her by accident, whether it was on purpose.
How the hell do you kill someone by accident?
I don't remember. When I watched the documentary, the shower was linked there. The brother showered her. The last thing in her stomach was pineapple. The only person that ate pineapple was the brother. And the Ramsey story was that they went to a Christmas Eve party with their friends. She fell asleep in the car and they carried her right up to bed. The last person that ate pineapple was the brother, and there was pineapple found in her stomach. So if she came home from the party asleep, how did she have pineapple in her stomach?
Yeah. And
somehow the shower was brought up. So I think this was just what the detectives came up with if the parents were to kill her. That the brother was put in the shower with her. She slipped, cracked her, or he pushed her or something. She cracked her head, and that's what originally broke her skull and cracked her head because she's 6. Your head's still very fragile. She slipped. They figured out that they killed her. The brother was very upset about it. She didn't go right to bed. She ended up eating pineapple and hanging out with her family for a little bit as they were getting ready for bed. While they were getting her ready for bed, they put them in the shower or the bath. She slipped, she bumped her head, and they tried to cover it. They tried to cover it as somebody kidnapped her and stole her when they actually were not taking care of her correctly. She slipped, broke her head, and ended up dying. So I think just to really make sure she was dead and to make it look more like a kidnapping, they did everything else that they did to her. But I let them say. Further, when John Ramsey discovered her body, he said in the documentary he immediately pulled the tape off that was on her mouth. Whitson, which was the main detective at this point, claimed in the documentary that there may have been some evidence on that duct tape that if that wasn't removed. So that duct tape that was placed on her mouth, how do you put duct tape on a mouth?
Your fingers.
You put it on, normally you duct tape it to their mouth and then you kind of rub it in so it stays on, even though she's dead. Exactly. So by him pulling that off, that ruins, if God forbid she was kidnapped, ruins fingerprints. Why do you think he ripped it off? He put it on her.
Yeah, because if you knew
That's common sense.
Like, if you knew that your daughter was kidnapped, killed, you'd want to keep everything possible.
That's what would go through my head. Oh my God, I just found my kid.
Anything.
Everybody get out. Everybody get
anything.
out. I'm not touching her. I'm not grabbing a sheet that was somehow easily accessible to me.
I'm not pulling the duct tape
I'm
off
not
of her
pulling
mouth.
the tape off her body. I'm not picking her up and dragging her upstairs for my friends and family and her mother and her father and her family and her brother to see her dead. Why would you think about doing that unless you were trying to cover your ass?
But like, yeah, if you wanted them to really find who did this, you wouldn't have touched
You wouldn't
anything.
have touched her. You wouldn't have done anything.
You would have wanted as much evidence as you could possibly have.
Correct. Detective Bob Whitson said that in the documentary that's what it says, that he asked for handwriting from both John and Patsy Ramsey, which he received back in 2 notebook pads and gave
Two
to
notebook
their
pads full of handwriting.
Yeah.
Damn, they made him write a lot.
That's what the thing was 3 pages long.
Oh,
they had to get every single word, basically.
Oh, they did every word.
Not every word, but
They're like, rewrite the note, bitch. All right, got it. Well, how do you know what it says?
And they 2 notebook pads, and they gave their forgery detective and handwriting examiner Jeff Kithcart to analyze. Kithcart told Dr. Menarians he found that he believed to be the first draft of the possible ransom note within one of the notebooks. So they wrote it. The first draft.
Why the fuck would you write in the
possibly
same...
found in a notebook.
Well, the thing, like, if they're making them write a lot, at some point, even if they were changing their handwriting, they would get tired.
Well, they didn't change. This is a notebook pad that they found.
Oh, they weren't writing yet. Like, they
No.
found it.
I think so. Because in the documentary, it showed the paper. It was like a paper, like a regular piece of printer paper that had printed out words and the ABCs on the front and the back. It was a single paper. So, which received back in 2 notebook pads. Oh, no, they had them write in notebook pads that I think they just had.
Oh.
He probably told them what to write.
But if they yeah.
But
if they weren't fucking smart, clearly they weren't the smartest. So if they weren't smart and they didn't take out the other vote.
I don't think they were trying to cover themselves very well. They thought they were, but I don't think they were.
But still, they did because they're not.
It appears that the ransom
in jail.
note was written from that notebook in the Ramsey's household, he said.
But I thought you said it was a printer. Oh, no, wait, no. Okay.
See, look, this is
That's the original?
Yeah. Maybe we'll insert a picture if we can figure out how. Some experts believe that the ransom note to be fake during the 2006 FBI agent interview.
Oh, I see what you're saying about the letters.
Like, who draws an A like that?
Like, that's... I used to, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's very distinct.
Yeah,
if somebody draws an A like that, it's very easy to tell when they write that they're gonna draw their A like that every single time.
Yeah.
So, they believe that the ransom note to be fake. Interviewed in the series, John Walker, an FBI agent, said that when he read the note, it was unusual to see how long the note was. Your typical ransom notes are short and to the point, he said. He said
Give me my money, bitch.
Yep. He said it was odd to ask for $118,000 specifically. Why $118,000?
Like 120, 125.
Ransom notes are usually written
118.
Ransom notes are usually written in increments of 5. So 5,000, 15,000, 16. Nope. 5,000, 10,000, 15,000.
Oh, so like 200,000.
20,000. Like, it just goes up in 5s. You don't ask for a very specific
Like
$118,000.
Especially on the spot if you're like writing fast.
If you're writing, you're thinking, okay, well, what do I want? $200,000. It sounds fantastic. It's easy to write. It's quick to write.
Sounds fantastic.
200.000. Like it's very quick. It's easy. 180.000. Like it's just very.
Well, because I also
task
feel
for
like
a
if you're
specific
writing something
18,000.
like that, you'd like there'd be things crossed off. There'd be things erased because they're like, oh no, not that, or like something stupid, like not perfectly, like no mark, like that type of stuff.
He said the $118,000 is a low figure, but it's also very unusual figure because it's not typical of what you expect to see. Hinting that he'd
Exciting.
Saying that he'd more likely see $200,000, like I said, to $1 million request, especially with how wealthy they were. They were very wealthy. He said all of this indicated to me the note was essentially bogus. It was truly not a kidnapping ransom note.
It's a bogus note.
According to the reporter Carol McKinley, police.
Wow, we got all the fucking Karens. Linda, Carol.
I know.
Damn.
Police. Well, this is when Karens were like.
Oh.
This is when like those kind of names were popular. Police initially thought JonBenet died by strangulation. The autopsy listed that both strangulations and head wounds were cause of death. Like I said.
Oh, so she was strangled.
I think the brother strangled her, and then when he let go, or they were probably messing around playing. Maybe he was strangling her, didn't realize that she was actually dying, and when he let go, to the shower, and it busted her head, or even not even
Why
in the
fuck
shower.
were they showering together?
Well, because they were young. She was 6. I think he was like 9 or something.
Oh, okay.
The autopsy. I already. In the documentary, Bob Whitson said that the police identified both a baseball bat found inside of Ramsey's house and the Ramsey mag light flashlight left in the kitchen, but there was no physical evidence on either item because Patsy Ramsey went in the kitchen and cleaned.
Oh.
The autopsy reported also no other injury to her vagina.
No,
They did. She was sexually assaulted. That's what I meant. After JonBenet's death, the Randy did not come off favorably to many in the media. According to reporters who covered the case, the Ramseys were very harshly judged and delinquent parents who forced their daughter into the beauty pageants, said from Denver KUSA TV investigative reporter Paula Woodward in the documentary. John Ramsey said that in the documentary that he and Patsy did an interview with CNN after friends were insistent that they go in front of the media after accusing. Here we go. See, I'm putting words that I think it should say instead of accusations against them came out. Still, reporters in the discoveries said it wouldn't land right. Why are they doing interviews with CNN if they aren't going to a formal interview sit down with Boulder police? They wouldn't go to an interview with the police, but they'd go to CNN. That's why it's so odd.
Because they wanted the public not to hate them. They didn't really care about
the police. Correct. The Boulder police said if they wanted to find the killer of their child, they would have had an interview, sit down with the police if they wanted somebody to basically find, if they wanted to find who killed their child.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah. McKinley said in the documentary, another famous investigation reporter in the case, Charlie Brennan, also said Patsy remarks that there was a killer on the loose landed awkwardly in the local community.
What does that mean?
She sat on CNN and said there's a killer on the loose.
Who said that? Oh,
Patsy, which I guess landed very awkwardly because nobody else was killed but Ramsey, and it was a few weeks later, I guess.
Yeah, because if there was a killer on the loose,
there would be another 6-year-old or younger kid killed. In the series, John Ramsey said to his attorney, attorneys advised him not to talk to the police without them present.
Okay, well that's fair, but
You have a right to your attorney. That's in your rights. Your
Sure.
Miranda rights are you have the right to remain silent. That anything you say or do will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, there will be an attorney given to you.
Why do you know that?
I had to. I think it was in 8th grade. My teacher challenged to see who would remember them, and then we did a fake arrest in my class.
So you
I'm a
handcuffed
good
someone?
girl, officer. No, there was no handcuffs. It was just put your hands behind your back, and then they just sat there, and then you read them your rights.
Put your hands behind your back.
It was a
Of course
lot.
you'd say that.
As it was why a lot of innocent people were in prison. Ramsey said he cooperated with the
I'm
police
so
and gave
funny.
them anything they asked for,
Bro,
including
she's not even listening.
Because I'm reading.
Sorry. I said, of course you'd say that. Put your hands behind your back.
Innocent people were in prison. Ramsey said he cooperated with the police and gave them anything they asked for, including blood samples, DNA samples, records, credit card records, anything.
Credit card? What the fuck does a credit card have anything to do with it?
Money.
Moolah.
Can you stop picking at the wall? On January 15th, Colorado something of Bureau of Investigations received a DNA report sample taken from JonBenet's body. The test revealed that there was foreign DNA evidence in JonBenet's fingernails and underwear from an unidentified male that did not match anyone in the family. While the report was received in January, John Ramsey said that in the documentary that they had not gone public with their results for months. And that's on January 15th, the DNA analysis of the Colorado Bureau investigation was never ever leaked. The Boulder District Attorney didn't even know about it. Reporter Paula Woodward said in the documentary. That's what she said. In the documentary. In 2001, the Ramsey filed a civil suit against former detective Steve Thomas, who led the investigation before resigning in 1998, purportedly making accusations in his book about their potential involvement in JonBenet's death. In 2001 disposition, Thomas said police gave information to the media in an effort to compel the Ramseys to speak. So the police were giving the media things to think out, they were giving the people details that maybe were a little fishy about the Ramseys, so that the parents would come out on television, hopefully slip up and say something.
Oh. Well, that's basically what police do. They just play mind games and reverse psychology to get people to do things.
If you ever look in an interview room, they will look you dead in the eyes and tell you did it. They'll say you killed somebody on blah 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 on December 22nd.
And most people will crack because
you killed them. You were the one that did it. You hit her in the head with a baseball bat. You strangled her and they
wouldn't
tase
even
her
know that
and
they know.
no.
That they knew.
And they have and when you're sitting there, somebody's telling you murdered somebody. If you didn't do it, you're literally gonna say, "I didn't do it. Stop telling me I did it." You're gonna get physically upset because somebody's telling you murdered somebody and you didn't.
That's why they're really nice to them. They're nice to criminals because they
know that
they want them to say something. Yeah. Because they have to almost build that trust first for them to be like, I did.
Yeah. And then when you get sat in a room and you're told over and over again that you did it, eventually if you did do it, you're gonna crack.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen. Thomas also agreed in his disposition that Richard Dusick, a document analysis with the U.S. Secret Service. Oh yeah, this was big. Secret Service, FBI, everything was involved. Other states' police and investigators came over to help them.
They probably were.
A professional private investigator was hired by the Ramsey family to kind of prove their innocence, but they were rich. I think they paid him off. Concluded that there was no evidence Patsy Ramsey wrote the ransom note, which there was evidence that she wrote the note because her handwriting matched it to a T exactly perfectly.
Yeah.
Thomas previously wrote the theory that she may have in his book. He wrote down in his little notepad that police officers are given that she did write it, which is odd.
Wait.
As this story got deeper and more towards the Ramsey family, a lot more police officers were like, oh, no, they didn't do it. And all of a sudden, Ramsey money was going missing. And they were spending a lot more money on unknown things. At the time, reporters of potential child abuse were also sensationalized in the press and public opinion. At the very beginning, not many people were on the Ramseys did not do it side.
So
And
most people think that they did it.
To this day, people know that they did it. It's not even like they did or they didn't. I'm fighting for you, JonBenet! And most people thought John Ramsey killed his own daughter, maybe molested his daughter, and killed her. Carol McKinley said that in the documentary. Despite conversations around the abuse in the media at the time, and Thomas saying his disposition, he looked to see if there were any
pathology.
There we go.
Don't worry, girl.
In the family.
I got your back.
From right here. Thomas said that he did not think that there was anything remarkable or outstanding in his...
I don't know what a disposition is. I think it's just like a...
drug use, child abuse, or spousal abuse was not that I'm aware of. So basically saying he didn't abuse his kids.
There was no
drugs in his
evidence.
system. Like one of the initial theories developed by the Boulder police, which Detective Steve
Harvey
Thomas.
You think he could figure it out?
No.
Why not?
He sold his kid to Diddy. Throughout, several officials spoke up. Retired Commander John San Austin said that there was a lack of respect for the Boulder Police Department towards the Boulder District Attorney's Office. At the time, Boulder District Attorney Alex Hunter said that there were differing theories between the two departments. Some Boulder police thought that they knew who did it, and some were convinced the intruder did it.
Differ on Slay theory? Slay girl! Why the fuck is it Slay?
In interviews shown in the documentary, Lou Smith said he believed that stun gun causes marks on JonBenet's face and back. According to John St. Augustine, his theory was dismissed by other investigators who intruded the marks on her lying in an object.
Huh? Who attributed to the marks on to her lying?
There, I just missed the sentence.
But...
So Schmidt was the man that was hired by the people.
Oh, so he was like showing how
he was showing how he would gotten in and out, but not through the broken window. He'd have to open the window, which would cause noise.
Well, yeah, because how are you going to get through a broken window? You're going to get cut.
Yep. Smith also highlighted several other pieces of evidence that led him to suspect an intruder was responsible for the act, which is why I think that the Ramseys paid him off. He was a paid private investigator. So I think that they paid him to say, listen, make every excuse to make it look like it wasn't us.
Yeah.
The video and audio tapes Smith recorded.
If they wrote that about their daughter, they for sure would have been like, if you don't say that, we'll ruin you.
Yeah.
Like they could.
We'll make you look bad. We'll make you look like the worst investigator.
Well, if they did it to her, they'll do it to him.
Yeah. And video and audio tapes Smith recorded. These included a rope found in the guest bedroom near JonBenet's room, the open basement window where the videotape of himself entering in and out of, despite skepticism from others, that would not have been possible, in the suitcase under the window, which had been a faint footprint mark, and the suitcase under the window, which was what he believed a faint footprint mark, and the glass shards left behind on the top. There was other cases in Boulder where suspect went into home and attempted to complete sexual assault with assaults both before and after the case, according to Detective Bob Whitson. This included a case of a couple neighborhoods over the Ramseys that happened September 1997, just a few months after JonBenet's death, where someone broke into a nearby home at night and assaulted a little girl. According to reporters Charlie Brennan in the documentary, the little girl happened to attend the same dance studio as JonBenet and the perpetrator had never been identified, despite the parallels.
It was her dad.
Honestly, it probably was. And the perpetrator has never up. Besides the parallels, Brennan said, it's unclear in the case if the cases are connected. Police have not publicly confirmed linked if this one is. In September 1989, a granted jury was convinced to investigate after the death.
A grand jury, not granted. Guys, she's dyslexic. Give her some grace.
An indictment was needed to convince any suspect, including the Ramseys, of a crime. A year later, on October 13th, 1999.
Was it a Friday?
Did
Did you know yesterday was Friday the 13th?
Yeah, we had two Friday the 13th in this year. That's why this year's so fucked.
Correct. But it was Friday the 13th and there was a full moon. That's why yesterday was so funky.
Yeah. Odd. Boulder County District Attorney Alex Hunter announced that the grand jury had been dismissed without issuing any indictments, citing
I want to talk to the juries.
Insufficient evidence.
I want to talk to the juries.
Why would on a random day where this big case is going on, making world television, all of a sudden be dropped? Because it was looking bad on the Ramseys.
Yeah, I want to...
So all of a sudden,
it
was dropped because of insufficient evidence, when there was evidence of both the Ramseys doing it and the Ramseys not doing it. So it leaded up to the juries to detect whether they did or didn't do it. So it was starting to look bad on the Ramseys, so that had to be shot down very quick. Several men were investigated for JonBenet's death. One had led to JonBenet's pageant photographer, Randy Simons, who had sold her photos to an agency that allowed them to appear in tabloids in 2019. Simons was convicted on charges related to child sexual abuse image. However, according to the investigative writers, Joy Singler, this DNA was not found at the crime scene.
So he was convicted for something else. Yeah. Was anyone ever...
This guy, please insert a picture right here. So in 2002, Michael Tracy, a professor emeritus in a mass communication of the University of Colorado, who said in the documentary that he became involved in the case early on because of how detectives in the media was contacted by a man with the Pasumidom. What?
I don't know what that is. Like nickname, I guess.
His social media name was Daxis.
Dax's dick.
Claiming to have killed JonBenet over taped phone calls. Tracy explained in the documentary how Daxis went into graphic detail about how he assaulted and killed JonBenet.
Oh, so he admitted it. Or was he just paid off to do it? To be the person to say? Because that's how many years later?
In 2006, Tracy said that.
How many? That's 7 years later?
Yeah. Tracy said he sent Dallas the last photo of JonBenet was investigators used it as bait to track and identify him. Daxis was then revealed to be John Mark Carr, an all-American school teacher living in Thailand.
Bitch fled.
Yep. He lived there previous. Carr had previously been arrested in California in 2001 on charges related to child sexual abuse image, but fled the country before facing charges and disappearing.
Whoa. So why are we allowing?
He faced charges, then he moved to Thailand and became a school teacher because he fled. So
how are we letting people who have sexual abuse charges, especially child, work in a school?
Because the charges technically never finished because he fled.
But that's illegal. Is that not illegal to flee?
Exactly, but they didn't know where he went, so. Okay. Carr was arrested in Thailand and brought back to Colorado. In the documentary, John Ramsey claimed that when Carr's photo went public, his housekeeper at his vacation home in Michigan called him, saying she was 100% certain She saw Carr wandering the Ramseys' garage asking questions the summer before JonBenet was killed. While Carr was arrested, his DNA did not match the DNA in the crime scene, and he was released. As of May 2024,
yep. Oh wait, or he is?
No, he's not.
So nobody.
Per the documentary, Carr claims to be living a very certain comfort life outside of the U.S. He doesn't live in the U.S. anymore, and has not been committed of any crimes against children. They missed.
He has not been convicted. He hasn't been convicted.
Correct, but he has allegations. So this is missing a lot of key evidence from the documentary that I think should have been added. He sat on the in the investigation, because I watched the 2024 documentary.
Now I want to watch it.
Can we? Okay. I actually recommend it very much because they do not miss a detail. Any tiny detail is in there. Basically, he sat there and said that he was on, I don't remember if it was a medicine or he wasn't.
Love it. Yeah. I loved being, not even in like not having to
you have to be a police officer first.
Yeah, but not doing that. I would just want to be an investigator. Yeah. Like, that is so fun. I would not want to do anything else law related. I would just want to be
investigator
or like a forensic scientist.
Mm-hmm. Anything like that.
Cool. But I would not want to be the scientist because you're just getting the evidence. You don't know what the rest of the case is.
Yeah.
I mean, you are figuring it out, kind of.
I don't remember if it was him saying that. I don't remember if it was him saying that he wasn't on a medication or he was on a medication. But it was the one or the other, where he just a sexual drive was very high, very doesn't matter anything. He he just had like
high sex drive.
A high sex drive.
Wow.
So he got a surgery, so he can't even get a boner anymore.
A thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could get a surgery.
Yeah, most people who are repeat sexual assaulters get it.
Why?
So that they can't have an erection, so they can't.
Oh, so they can't do anything.
No, because it won't get hard. It won't get hard because there's no erection.
Squeep.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't do anything.
So you're basically a walking idiot.
You just have a squid attached to you for no reason.
Yeah, like what do you do with it? It doesn't jizz, it doesn't do anything. It probably doesn't even feel good anymore. In 2022, John Ramsey petitioned Colorado government Jared Paulus to transfer DNA evidence in the case from the Boulder Police Department to an independent investigative agency. In the documentary, he stated that 5 or 6 items were sent to the lab but never sampled for DNA.
Wait, was this saying that the police department never did that?
Well, he's just saying it was sent to the lab and nothing ever happened. I never heard about him. Nothing was ever written about them in
That's
any
your dad saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
We want to have those items that have been sampled and tested to be retested soups, and then use them in public
genealogy database.
Thank you. To look for not only a match but a similar relative.
Because that can help.
He said in the statement. As of November 2024, ahead of the release of the documentary,
like a month ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The Boulder Police Department released in its yearly update on the case.
They make yearly updates on this case?
Every year. In a video update, Boulder Police Chief Stephen Renfern.
You did not just say Stephen.
I meant Stephen.
Jesus Christ. Stephen Curry. Fucking idiot. Keep going.
I was not a Boulder police in 28 years ago. I've worked in policing for more than 20 years. And I want to assure you that our agency is committed and doing everything we can to bring justice to JonBenet and hold her killer responsible.
And it's not even for the parents at this point. It's just for her.
Redfern acknowledged that there were numbers of things law enforcement could have handled better regarding the case. Redford and Colorado police have since partnered with the Colorado Cold Case Review Team, a panel of outside experts, to review the case. generate recommendations, and determine and update technologies, and forensic testing might produce new leads.
But how do they still have the evidence?
They have everything because it's not a done case. So every single evidence from then is still sitting in evidence bags.
But how is the evidence still there 20 years later?
Because it hasn't been touched by anything but a bag that's been sterilized and thoroughly cleaned.
Yeah, but wouldn't it just like go away?
Nope.
That stuff
Stays there forever.
Oh, interesting.
Basically until you clean it off. People were sending the police officers tips on what to do to figure out who it
handwriting,
was.
DNA, fingerprints, shoe prints.
Because there was a shoe found.
Whoa. How the fuck do they have 2,500? Where are you putting 2,500 pieces of evidence?
In a giant room for that?
Well, yeah, but that's like one room for this. I've gone.
I think JonBenet has probably her own closet because of how big that case was for.
I went when I did my little police camp. I went to, I don't remember if it was the courthouse or where we went, but it was somewhere where we could see all that stuff, and you can just see like there's just like you know, like a library with all those like rows. It's
all
like
people's
that,
names.
And it's just names. Oh, it's numbers of cases with evidence. Like it's literally just things and things and things and things of evidence.
And then there's another closet with boxes of evidence.
Yeah, we saw it all. It's actually really crazy, especially for this little like our little like county for how many things of evidence there were. Like obviously there's probably some stupid things that people do, but there
probably
was
like stupid break-ins.
They have
with, like,
to keep
a shard
it.
Of glass.
They have to keep it for like 20 years or something. They said
until it goes completely cold.
No, not even that. They have to keep it even if the case is completely done. If it's filed, they still have to keep it in case something else comes up for like a couple, like 20 years or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, it was either like 20 or 100. I don't remember. It was a while ago. But they have to keep it for a certain amount of time in case something else pops up, which I think is very interesting, but also really smart.
Very smart. Redford said that the department continues to have ongoing conversations with the Ramsey family. He said Boulder police welcome any tips and coverage related to the case to bring the killer justice. The Boulder Police Department encouraged anyone with any information to contact detectives.
Wow.
That was my story.
I like that one.
Now that you've heard most of the evidence, who do you think did it?
Parents? The dad. Specifically the dad.
I think they didn't bring the brother up. I don't know why. The brother played actually the biggest play in this.
No, but I think if the brother had anything to do with it, I think the brother accidentally did it. The parents freaked out. The dad freaked out. And instead
I think the mom's the one that freaked out. The dad did the dirty work,
well,
but
that's
the
what
mom
I mean. Like,
did the hard stuff.
Instead of just like taking her to the hospital and possibly getting in trouble for something because
they didn't mean to do.
That they didn't mean to do instead of having
they covered it up to make it look like somebody else did it.
Yeah, like I think something happened by accident, maybe with the brother, and then they were like, oh, well,
and then
they
covered the story
because it'll look bad on them if she's like that.
Well, I think something bad happened to the brother. They were doing something together. They were hanging out. Maybe something happened. She hit her head, probably cracked her skull, and probably died. But they didn't realize, like, they knew she died. So if they knew that they were, let's take her to the hospital. No, because we're gonna get arrested for murdering her. So they had to set up a whole crime scene. They had to tase her. They had to tie her.
Well,
they
like,
had to
instead
kill her.
of like possibly taking it and being like, no, it was an accident. But I mean, you could still get convicted for an accidental murder. Like if somebody dies, you still get. But instead of that, they just
thugged it out and made themselves look
bigger
bad.
thing and made their life a lot harder.
They were very reputable.
Not anymore.
They were. They didn't want to ruin their reputation. They'd rather.
Well, they did.
Well, I know, but they'd rather have a dead daughter than
but
in their eyes in that moment. They'd rather have a dead daughter than ruin their reputation. They go to the hospital. They say, look, my daughter's dead. She fell. She bumped her head. Makes them look bad.
Yeah, but they still ruin their reputation.
But that's what I'm saying. They didn't expect to ruin their reputation. They didn't expect it to turn back and be on them.
Well, you're fucking stupid for hiding her in your own house. Like, that's stupid.
Okay.
A ransom and a kidnapping.
A woman, Patsy, you are not a woman because if you were thinking logically, you would not hide her in your home.
Well, not even that. Like,
you would shove her. You would go off to a landfill and shove her down somewhere. You would put her somewhere not in your house to make you look bad.
But not even that. Like,
Or you'd break the damn front door, or you'd put something to make it look like somebody broke into your house to get you to go.
Why would you write a ransom note when somebody ransoms and does that? They leave with the person. They don't kill them there.
That was the other thing that investigators said. When you write a ransom note, you put it down and you flee. You go away. You go somewhere else.
If it's a ransom or a kidnap, you can't kidnap in your own house. Like you can't.
Well, that's what people were saying, that you can't write a ransom note and then keep the body in there unless they wrote the ransom note. We're going down in the basement to kill her. Heard Patsy on the phone crying, screaming. They killed her, which she would be screaming and heard, which that's why the duct tape was on her mouth, and they killed her through her in the thing and fled.
But you would have heard something.
But that was Ramsey's. That's basically what they said.
But they would have heard something. Like they would have heard someone down there. They would have. Which is
why
the investigators told them to.
Which is why the parents did it.
Yeah.
Which is why the parents did it. You don't write a ransom note, kill somebody. Write the ransom note. Say, give me this X amount of money, $118,000, very specific.
There has to be something that has to do with that number.
That the parents needed.
That the investigators need to look at. There has to be something.
That
number has to be significant in some way.
It has to be. Who comes up with $118,000?
Maybe it was for like the mafia or something.
Maybe they look like mafias.
Like they could be involved in something like that. Like I'm not saying that, but like they could be. That was good. I like that one. You did a good job, even though you didn't do anything, but that was still good. Up top.
What do you mean I didn't do anything? I read.
You didn't do it before.
Okay. Literally all they needed to do was Google Ramsey case.
Well, I know. But like you still knew stuff about it, which is cool.
Yeah.
I did. More of these. I like when she DMs and she knows what she's talking about. And I just get to sit here and look pretty.
Always.
And make funny jokes.
Stupid jokes that piss me off sometimes, but it's okay.
What?
Because I'll be in the middle of a sentence and you say, blah, 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 and it mid-sentence.
That's the fun part. All right.
R.I.P. my heart, JonBenet.
So
I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home. Far across the river, can you hear freedom calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones.
I go to prepare a place for you.
That's your part. I can't get that high right now. I go.
Guys, I think me and Luke should make a song together.
I go to prepare a place.
We both can actually sing, so I think we should. We'll do a Christmas.
Can we drop a song?
No, we'll do like a Christmas cover.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
The flower is so delightful. No, what was the one song that I really like? If the fate allows. Now on our troubles will be miles away. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. There we go.
Ready?
No.
All right, fuck off. Go. Just say it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Go again.
Oh my god. Okay. So we'll see you guys next week.
You can find us on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts.
We were the judges.
And today, you've been served. Point in case you do say it again.